Hey everyone, Rudy here, mtgcardmarket.com, back for, well, I guess back with our first set of rounds. I'm going to keep this hand because we have 8 forests and a painted bluffs, and we're on the draw. So I don't really mind this hand at all, just because we have so many lands and we're on the draw. There are so many green sources and we're on the draw. Certainly not going to be bad at all. And we drew the forest. Perfect. So now I can cycle this to Center's Deliverance if I need. Looks like I'm definitely going to do that. Just looking for another land here is definitely going to be a very good card. I'm going to cast Tormenting Voice here. Probably going to be just discarding. I think I want to keep this Gifts of Paradise because I can transform Gifts of Paradise. I think I'm just going to discard this Charioteer. Next turn I can Gifts of Paradise. The turn after that I can Mana Core. And as long as my opponent doesn't put too much pressure, I'll be in an okay spot. That is definitely a decent amount of pressure. Now all our mana's unlocked. I have enough mana to start kind of casting all the spells in my hand. And because, we're only taking 5 a turn this turn, which will put us down to 16. But then I get to untap with, removal and blockers. So be in an okay spot, I think. Wishing this was Giant Spider right now. That's for sure. Go ahead and tag my opponent for 3 here. I will block Unwavering Initiate because I am going to have a benefit in the late game. I'm going to be pretty good, and if my opponent wants to trade this off and use all their mana this turn, that's fine with me. Oh, Cartouche of Ambition. That is definitely going to be a good one here. And as I said, I'm still going to trade with this Unwavering Initiate. For sure. That is kind of an unfortunate one. I'm going to take this opportunity here to play out a creature since my opponent has to wait to untap, and then the next turn I can electrify it. Especially if my opponent decides to exert. Wow, looks like my opponent is playing a 3rd color as well. There's no... I mean, maybe they're just playing this to cycle, but that's kind of crazy if that's what they're doing. Alright. Alright. Well, it's kind of nice. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Unfortunately, I don't have enough mana to Quarry Holer and Electrify this turn. So I am just going to go ahead, play a land, and electrify this. And the next turn I can eat a counter off it. I'm going to start holding the rest of my lands in my hand from here on out. This should be enough mana to play everything in my deck, play a couple different spells a turn. And I also have cards in my deck, Merciless Javenier specifically, that's going to want me to hold cards in my hand. Now we get to remove a card, and it looks like my opponent might just be missing their 3rd color here. Alright. Well, Vizier here's fine either way. It doesn't really affect me. It just basically resets. But still fine with me. I'm in an okay spot. That's for sure. Really regretting not discarding a forest here instead of the Charioteer. But I did want to make sure that I hit all my land drops. And I was a little bit scared that I might not, especially since I kept, a 2-lander. But it looks like it would have ended up working out anyway. Wow, a 2nd Cartouche of Ambition here is pretty good for my opponent, but I'm certainly not in a bad spot by any stretch. I will block for sure. All right. Another land here is awful and making me regret, not keeping the Charioteer even more. Well, in Cultivator is essentially another land, but we're getting to a point where we don't have that many lands left. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So only going to have 6 lands left for sure. So in a pretty good spot. All right. We only have 5 lands left in the deck. I'm about to have 4. All right. I guess I will. I'm just gonna try to hold off that I have. I have 3 lands left in my deck now. 2 lands left in my deck now. The good news is, so I'm basically 90% to draw a spell. basically incredibly high to draw a spell. But I'm definitely getting to a point where I might have to play a couple of my lands. All right. That's great. Guess I'm just gonna pass here. Now I can start taking down all of my opponent's threats. Can't really attack until they get rid of this. Spearmaster's not gonna matter. Thanks to this Javelier. Nice fool. But this is why this card's great. I'm just gonna, kind of shotgun, 3 of my opponent's creatures and leave them with not really anything going on. If I draw any bad card that doesn't do anything, it just gets turned into a counter. Kind of regretting playing that mountain here, though, now. But I do have cut to ribbons, and I do want to make sure that I can, play it and crack back for everything and, potentially a turn. I'm in a pretty good spot. In a pretty good spot right now. Yeah, that's dead. Alright. So now my opponent doesn't get their 3rd cartouche off. I'm probably taking 3 here, would be my guess. Really what my opponent does here kind of changes how my attacks go. If my opponent attacks for 2 here, then I might just kill this and attack or I might just kill this, put a counter on here and attack. Okay, interesting. I am going to block here because I do not mind trading. Alright, I have no more lands left in my library, I believe. I think that's all of them. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I guess I still have another land left in my deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 2 lands left in my deck, it looks like. Alright, well there's the Champion Aronis. That's not going to do anything. That's just going to die here. I don't think I can die here, but let me think for a second. So if my opponent exerts and then casts Shed Weakness, I could die. So I think it's best for me just to hold this and use it. I think that's just going to be safest. So I'm going to go ahead and just play it as safe as possible. so I don't accidentally die to a pump spell. It looks like my opponent is like fairly deep into green, but they're gonna need a lot here, that's for sure. It's kind of interesting. That just is gonna go ahead and kill them. Yeah, cut to ribbons is great. I'm pretty happy with most of that, although I definitely am going to want this giant spider. Giant spider is just going to block really well. It looks like they're kind of on the slower side, so I definitely am going to want this. Dissensor's Deliverance, not really going to do anything, though. Do I want Splendid Agony? I think I might want Splendid Agony. Just want a ton of removal against them. Maybe I even want the cartouche. Maybe I should have went a little deeper. Just made my everything, my curve just horrendous because all my cards are so powerful. But I'm going to keep this on the draw. I do have a bunch of 3-drops in my hand, but my opponent showed me that they're kind of a slow 3-color deck. And all these cards are very powerful. They do have 3 cartouche ambitions, which is definitely neat. And it looks like I drew all my lands that I needed, so I'm in a good spot here. Now I can just start playing creatures. Next turn, what I'm likely to do is if I miss on my land drop, or I don't draw another land here. That's pretty unfortunate for me. Compulsory rest, but I can sacrifice this, so it's not, not the worst by any stretch. Go ahead and eat that 3/2 now. Get this into my graveyard. Hopefully next turn I can draw a land. If I don't draw a land, then I get to Kudu and make this a 1/3 and sacrifice it. So that'll be in a good spot. Definitely just hoping to draw a land here. Alright, well, that actually is not the worst draw because I can play it this turn. And I can use this as fodder since it can't attack or block anyway. Then I'll use this Kudu to make this a 0/1 and sacrifice it and gain 2 life. My opponent, it looks like they're running out of gas though, and my hand is pretty stacked. So as long as I just draw some lands, I'll be in a good spot. Well, Cartouche's Sanctioned Strength is definitely a good one here, but I think I'm going to want to save that for a little bit. Don't really want to trade for these two and let my opponent get a zombie token when I can just wait. Champion of Ronus. It's definitely a good one. That's definitely going to bite the dust, though, this turn. That's for sure. Cartouche. All right. Go ahead, just gain my 2 life. That's fine. This is a 2/3. Definitely don't mind that. 4/3. Let's go ahead and just eat this now. Definitely don't mind doing that. Green. Cartouche. Go ahead and eat your champion. Play this guy. I'm not going to attack. Just no reason to. 3 damage and, 1 means just not worth it to deal 2 damage to give my opponent a zombie and lose everything that I have. Crater Sandworm, pretty good, that's for sure. Sure. play this Hydra, play my Swamp. Yeah, just go ahead and pass here. I can now block and trade and buy back my Honored Hydra, and pretty good spot now. Also have this Fireball just looming. So I think I'm at a point where it's like I'm pretty torn between what I'm going to play and what I'm not going to play. If I draw lands, it's very likely that I might just hold them for a little bit. Alright. Now I'm in a pretty good spot. Don't really have to do anything. My opponent is the one that has to kind of break this up. So eventually I'm just going to draw enough lands to, you know, dome them with cut to ribbons. Alright. Opponent's getting in some attacks here. Let's block here, and block here and here. So I only take 4. I still can draw a card after this, and so I have all the tools in the world. I'm going to lose 2 creatures here. My opponent's going to lose 2 creatures, and I'll take 4, and I'm pretty okay with that trade, especially since my Hydra has Embalm. Still going to have this Watchful Naga in play. I'm pretty happy with whatever these trades would be. Cast out. Oh, well, that's pretty unfortunate for me. This is the biggest blowout, is cast out on that. Alright, well now I'm just dead. That is unfortunate. Alright. Cast out was pretty brutal there. Pretty brutal for sure. I'm definitely going to want this other Splendid Agony, though. That's for sure. This Charioteer is kind of weak. Just going to go ahead and just get that out of there. You want to play first. I'm definitely going to keep this. You know, Magma Spray for a Dissenter, Vitalist to get me ahead of the game. All 3 of my colors, Scaled Behemoth. So this is a pretty good hand. So definitely pretty excited to keep this. Yeah, looks like we're in a good spot here, that's for sure. I am just going to play this guy here instead. Going to hold up this Magma Spray just because I want to make sure I hit all my land drops because it's so important to hit land drops basically at any point in time that I'd rather make sure that I play what is effectively another land. Alright, well, we'll take 3 here. No worries on that one. Spearmaster. Let's go ahead and eat that now. Well, drawing a land is actually kind of nice. Yep, that means I get to kind of, you know, progress my board a little bit. I'm now 1 land away from casting Behemoth. And next turn if I draw a land, I think I'm pretty likely to play Charioteer. Ooh, that is a good one. That's for sure. Maybe I don't want to attack. I don't think my opponent is likely to block. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and just pass here with Cultivator up and Splendid Agony if I need. I am fine taking 3 this turn. I can block here, sacrifice it, so it's in a good spot. Then next turn I can just play Behemoth. My opponent can't attack anymore with this. But I'm really not sure. I do know Cast Out's something I have to play around now. That is definitely something that I need to be concerned of. My opponent does have 3 Cartouche of Ambitions. So we will see. We will see what my opponent's going to do this turn, because it really can, you know, anything can really change. Now obviously, like, white is, you know, pretty strong and pretty deep, and that's for sure. But I do feel like I have a lot of the good tools to compete. Like Splendid Agony and Behemoth is obviously going to be pretty good. The only card it's bad against is the 7/7, but this is like kind of representative of what I see of a lot of decks, is where they're playing like 2-color decks and they're splashing a third. Although my opponent is splashing for a 7-drop and a 4-drop, which neither of which I think are super powerful. But maybe my opponent has something in their deck that we haven't seen yet. All right. What you got for me, opponent? All right. I'm going to block here because I definitely don't mind. Even if my opponent does have a removal spell here, it's not going to really change anything. Alright, cool. I just had nothing, which is good for me. Festering Mummy. What do I want here? I think I just want another forest. Okay, I'm just going to take another forest. Alright, and another forest. I think I am just going to go after this now. Sweet. Got their Gus Walker. Have a 3/3 and a 1/2 in play. Get to play Scaled Behemoth this next turn. Opponent is 1 turn away from playing a 7/7, which, if I have to guess, they might have one in their hand. They haven't really done anything for a few turns. So I mean, their hand is just super expensive. Alright. Interesting. I wonder if my opponent's going to attack here too. And I think I'm just going to offer the trade here. Just because I don't care if this has a counter on it or not. It doesn't really matter. My opponent just looks like they're kind of not doing anything. Alright, here's Scaled Behemoth. Drawing another land here is kind of meh. Alright, there's an elite. I'm going to start attacking for 6 now. Definitely going to be winning that race. And I'm going to start holding these lands in my hand now for Tormenting Voice and for Merciless Javenier. Basically, I just have to hope my opponent doesn't have another Cartouche here to kill off my Vitalist and to make a 3/3. Even though they wouldn't be winning the race, can definitely start leading towards that. Ooh, wow. Opponent is splashing green, I guess, for this. This card's like pretty weird because it's not that great, but it's definitely very good. It's not like a, oh, this card's a bomb, but it's definitely a card that you don't mind having in your deck at all. Yeah, I'll take that, that's for sure. Now that I've drawn Cut to Ribbons, I think I am going to play my land. For so next turn, I can actually just drain my opponent out. As long as my Naga Vitalist doesn't die. My Naga Vitalist dies, then it doesn't matter. But I'll have exactly enough here to cut to ribbons. As long as my opponent doesn't have a Cartouche of Ambition here. We did. That is quite unfortunate. So now I need to draw any one of my black sources. Maybe I'm now regretting not getting another black source with my cultivator. Alright, I'm still winning this race, so that is pretty fortunate. So we'll have to see what my opponent can draw off the top here. See if my opponent can, draw some blockers and give them a ton of time before I can draw a second swamp. Definitely regretting getting a second forest with the cultivator now. Since I have so few black sources, it kind of makes sense, but I wasn't really thinking about that. That's really unfortunate for me. Yep, goes up to 7. What do I got? Honored Hydra. I like that. I think I am going to attack with both. They block here, go to 1. That seems loose, though. I'm just going to attack with the Behemoth. Because they have to do something here. Alright, here's a 6/6 with Trample, so now all I need to do is fade any pump spell for this elite. Obviously, besides exerting itself. Any other pump spell will get me here. Alright, that is unfortunate. Wow. Alright. That is quite unfortunate. I'm regretting not playing this forest now. What a turnaround. That cartouche was absurd. 3 cartouches is obviously very good, and my opponent drew all 3 of them. Alright, I think that might help. I don't know if this actually helps just yet. Ugh, time to see. So I could gifts a land, so I could gifts a swamp, and that gives me access to not enough. But I could gifts to go up to 6, then play Sure Shot. I think I have enough to do that. So I think that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay, and then I can't attack here, right? Because then I just take 3 or 4 in the air and die. Or no, I guess I would take 4 in the air, put my opponent to 3. But if I don't attack, then my opponent can only attack with this. Because if they attack with this, then I just block and eat it. I think... Yeah, I think I want to not... force my opponent to maybe not attack. Regretted not playing that forest, and then it ended up being okay. Because that draw of Gifts of Paradise off Tormenting Voice. But now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can drain for 6 with ribbons. Compulsory rest. That's pretty unfortunate. Opponent drew back to back to back to back. Cartouche, cartouche. Compulsory rest, compulsory rest. Oh, that is quite unfortunate. That is for sure. All right, so let's sack this and gain 2 life. Put it back into play. Sacrifice this Sure Shot. I'm going to attack with the Behemoth, because I can still block with this Hydra. Force my opponent to draw a 3rd compulsory rest, or I guess I can force them to draw Cast Out, but that's fine with me if they're going to trade. I do have a lot of mana on the field now. 7, so I could, Fireball for 7 at any point in time. All right. They're back up to 20. All right, well, that was a great one for me, for sure. So since I can only drain for 7, we're a little bit short. That's okay, though. Splendid Agony, though, is going to make this a 1-1. It's going to force them to draw another pump spell here. I'm doing it on my turn because I don't want them to draw a pump spell, and if they have a pump spell, then it's just over anyway. But there's no reason to give them extra opportunities to draw a pump spell or a hexproof spell. All right, there's a champion. Let's see if my opponent's... I don't think my opponent can attack anymore. Wow, all right, so my opponent is going to attack. I'm going to go down to 3 here. And, well, Giant Spider's good if anything goes wrong, that's for sure. But we're definitely going to be attacking for 12 here, and 6 trample is pretty nice anyway. Opponent's going to have to block. They're going to take 6 down to 3. I'm just going to do this for 3. Blank. 1, 2, 3. That leaves me just enough to cast Giant Spider if anything goes wrong here. Otherwise, they will just die to this cut to ribbons. It was pretty fortunate that we were able to fade those cartouches in the compulsory restes just long enough. Oh man, that's so heartbreaking. Good luck in the rest of the league. Thank you. Good luck to you too. That was nice. Yeah, opponent definitely had a very close match, and that was for sure. But we'll be back in just a little bit with match number 2, starting off this league pretty nicely.